The reasons for differences between the International Electrotechnical Commission, Underwriters Laboratories, and the National Electrical Code stem from historical context, geographical scope, jurisdictional considerations, and technical differences. The International Electrotechnical Commission was founded in 1906, focusing on global standardization. Underwriters Laboratories was founded in 1894 and is a United States-based safety testing and certification organization. The National Electrical Code is developed by the National Fire Protection Association and is the electrical code used in the United States. The International Electrotechnical Commission has a global reach, aiming to harmonize electrical standards worldwide. Underwriters Laboratories is primarily focused on the North American market, meeting local safety requirements. The National Electrical Code is specifically applicable to electrical installations within the United States. The International Electrotechnical Commission sets general guidelines and requirements, allowing for some flexibility in local interpretations. Underwriters Laboratories enforces stricter safety standards based on industry best practices in the United States. The National Electrical Code is legally enforceable in the United States, with specific rules and regulations. Considering ground fault circuit interrupter protection, Underwriters Laboratories requires ground fault circuit interrupter protection for outdoor receptacles and bathrooms, while the International Electrotechnical Commission generally recommends it as good practice but does not mandate it. Underwriters Laboratories has a specific designation for hospital-grade outlets, which meet higher standards for durability and infection control. The International Electrotechnical Commission does not have an equivalent designation. Underwriters Laboratories and the National Electrical Code standards typically specify higher voltage levels such as 120 volts or 240 volts for residential and commercial applications, while the International Electrotechnical Commission allows for lower voltage levels such as 220 volts or 380 volts in some regions. Underwriters Laboratories and the National Electrical Code require circuit breakers with specific interrupting capacities, while the International Electrotechnical Commission provides more flexibility in breaker selection. Underwriters Laboratories and the National Electrical Code require grounding for all electrical systems, while the International Electrotechnical Commission may allow for ungrounded systems in specific circumstances. In recent years, there have been efforts to harmonize the International Electrotechnical Commission, Underwriters Laboratories, and the National Electrical Code standards to enhance global consistency and safety. However, due to different geographical, jurisdictional, and technical considerations, complete harmonization remains challenging. The International Electrotechnical Commission, Underwriters Laboratories, and the National Electrical Code each serve different purposes and operate within distinct contexts. Understanding these differences is crucial for ensuring electrical safety and compliance in various regions and applications. Firstly, the historical development of each organization has shaped its approach to safety and standardization. Secondly, the geographical scope dictates the specific needs and priorities addressed by each standard. Thirdly, jurisdictional considerations determine the legal enforceability and implementation of electrical codes. Finally, technical differences reflect variations in voltage levels, grounding practices, and protection requirements. The International Electrotechnical Commission aims for global harmonization, but practical implementation varies based on local conditions and regulations. Underwriters Laboratories focuses on rigorous testing and certification for the North American market. The National Electrical Code provides detailed regulations for electrical installations in the United States. Ground fault circuit interrupter protection is a key safety feature. Underwriters Laboratories mandates it in high-risk areas to prevent electrical shock. The International Electrotechnical Commission recommends ground fault circuit interrupter use but allows flexibility based on local risk assessments. Hospital-grade outlets are designed to withstand frequent use and maintain reliable connections in critical healthcare settings. Underwriters Laboratories set stringent standards for hospital-grade outlets to ensure patient safety. The International Electrotechnical Commission does not have a specific hospital-grade designation, but equivalent requirements may be incorporated into local standards. Voltage levels vary between regions due to historical and infrastructural factors. Underwriters' laboratories and the National Electrical Code specify 120 volts or 240 volts to align with the power distribution systems in North America. The International Electrotechnical Commission accommodates different voltage levels, such as 220 volts or 380 volts, common in Europe and other parts of the world. Circuit breaker interrupting capacity is crucial for preventing electrical fires and equipment damage. Underwriters' laboratories and the National Electrical Code require circuit breakers to meet specific interrupting capacity ratings based on the potential fault current. The International Electrotechnical Commission allows for more flexibility in breaker selection, provided that the chosen breaker meets the necessary performance requirements. Grounding ensures a safe path for fault currents, reducing the risk of electric shock. Underwriters' laboratories and the National Electrical Code mandate grounding for all electrical systems to provide a low impedance path for fault currents. The International Electrotechnical Commission may permit ungrounded systems in specific industrial applications where certain safety measures are in place. Harmonization efforts aim to reduce trade barriers and promote consistent safety practices worldwide. Despite these efforts, differences persist due to varying regulatory frameworks and technical requirements. Complete harmonization would require significant changes to existing infrastructure and legal systems. In summary, the differences between the International Electrotechnical Commission, Underwriters' Laboratories, and the National Electrical Code reflect their unique histories, geographical focuses, jurisdictional responsibilities, and technical priorities. While harmonization is desirable, practical challenges necessitate a nuanced understanding of each standard. The International Electrotechnical Commission developed standards used globally, promoting international trade and cooperation in electrical engineering. Underwriters' laboratories tests and certifies products to ensure they meet safety standards, providing assurance to consumers and manufacturers in North America. The National Electrical Code provides detailed rules for electrical installations, minimizing the risk of fire and electrical hazards in the United States. Ground fault circuit interrupters are essential safety devices that protect people from electric shock by detecting ground faults and interrupting the circuit. Hospital-grade receptacles are designed to withstand the rigors of hospital environments, including frequent plugging and unplugging, exposure to cleaning agents, and high electrical loads. Voltage levels are standardized within regions to ensure compatibility between electrical devices and power systems. Circuit breakers are protective devices that automatically interrupt a circuit when a fault or overload occurs, preventing damage to equipment and reducing the risk of fire. Grounding provides a lower impedance path for fault currents, ensuring that protective devices operate quickly and safely to clear the fault. Harmonization of electrical standards promotes global trade and reduces the cost of compliance for manufacturers who sell their products in multiple markets. However, differences in standards may persist due to variations in national regulations, historical practices, and local conditions. Understanding these differences is essential for electrical engineers, contractors, and other professionals who work with electrical systems. By understanding the historical context, geographical scope, jurisdictional considerations, and technical differences among these standards, professionals can ensure that electrical systems are safe, reliable, and compliant with applicable regulations. For example, an electrical engineer designing a product for global distribution needs to be aware of the International Electrotechnical Commission standards and the specific requirements of each country where the product will be sold. Similarly, an electrical contractor working in the United States needs to comply with the National Electrical Code and any local amendments to ensure that electrical installations are safe and code compliant. A product being tested by underwriters' laboratories will need to adhere to the proper United States testing standards. The ultimate goal of all electrical standards is to protect people and property from electrical hazards. The International Electrotechnical Commission, Underwriters' Laboratories, and the National Electrical Code each play a vital role in achieving this goal, albeit through different approaches and within different contexts. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility that requires ongoing education, training, and adherence to established standards and best practices. By working together, electrical professionals, manufacturers, and regulators can create a safer and more reliable electrical environment for everyone. In addition to the specific examples mentioned earlier, there are many other technical differences between the International Electrotechnical Commission, underwriters' laboratories, and the National Electrical Code. For instance, the International Electrotechnical Commission allows for the use of different types of wiring methods than those permitted by the National Electrical Code. The International Electrotechnical Commission also has different requirements for the installation of electrical equipment in hazardous locations. These differences reflect the varying priorities and approaches to electrical safety in different parts of the world. Despite the differences, there is also a significant degree of overlap between the International Electrotechnical Commission, underwriters' laboratories, and the National Electrical Code. Many of the basic principles of electrical safety are the same regardless of which standard is being followed. For example, all three standards require that electrical equipment be properly grounded, that circuits be protected by overcurrent devices, and that qualified personnel perform electrical work. This common ground provides a foundation for harmonization efforts and allows for greater consistency in electrical safety practices worldwide. Harmonization is an ongoing process that requires collaboration and compromise from all stakeholders. The International Electrotechnical Commission, underwriters' laboratories, and the National Electrical Code are all actively involved in harmonization efforts, working to identify areas where standards can be aligned without compromising safety. The ultimate goal of harmonization is to create a single set of global electrical standards that can be used worldwide. While this goal may not be fully achievable in the near future, significant progress has already been made, and further progress is expected in the years to come. In the meantime, it is important for electrical professionals to be aware of the differences between the International Electrotechnical Commission, underwriters' laboratories, and the National Electrical Code, and to understand how these differences may affect their work. By staying informed and up to date on the latest developments in electrical standards, professionals can ensure that they are providing safe and compliant electrical systems for their clients. The differences between the International Electrotechnical Commission, underwriters' laboratories, and the National Electrical Code highlight the complex and multifaceted nature of electrical safety. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to electrical safety, and the best approach will vary depending on the specific circumstances. By understanding the different perspectives and priorities of the International Electrotechnical Commission, underwriters' laboratories, and the National Electrical Code, professionals can make informed decisions about how to best protect people and property from electrical hazards. Safety is the ultimate goal,